Hey, if I was going to tell you that there was a way for you to excel more in your career, to have better health, to have more energy, to have a better marriage, to get along with your kids better, to get along, have better relationships with coworkers or whoever you're around, to have better health, sleep better, make more money, would you be like, okay, this lady's scamming me, right? But research has shown that there is a way to improve all those areas and more. You want to know what it is? Okay, it's gratitude. Skill number 2, gratitude. You might think, why? And let me tell you, there is brain science behind gratitude. So here we go. This is why gratitude actually rewires your brains and make you feel better. So our brains naturally look for the problems that we have, okay? And this is actually a good thing. We're grateful that our brains are wired to look for the, I can't talk, hello. To look for the problems. Okay, so let me give an example. If you are sick, you want to get well. More than anything, you're like, I never appreciated being well. I want to be well. You feel horrible. If you didn't know, if your body wasn't telling you you're sick, you would not be taking care of yourself and you'd probably get worse. Okay, if you are hot and really, really hot and need water, you're like, oh man, I'm hot. So you're going to do everything you can to solve that problem, get cooler. And that's a good thing because, yeah, we could overheat. I'm talking physical mostly here, though. We could overheat and we could have heat stroke. So it's a really good thing that our brains focus on problems so we can solve them and take care of ourselves as a survival mechanism. The thing is a lot of times, the issue with this is that we look for the problem and we forget to look around at the things that are great in our lives. And there's a lot of problems that can't be solved right away, so we still feel that, I gotta solve it. Or, or we ignore it, we don't solve. Obviously, we want to solve our problems. But if we can't solve it, or it takes a long time, it's a continual problem, we just feel anxious for nothing, really, basically. So the act of actually rewiring our brain and looking for the things around us that aren't a problem will relieve some of that. And it will actually release chemicals in your brain to make you feel better. So, it's really funny. Kids are awesome. I teach kids a class, Mind Up, and I teach the skill of thankfulness. So the way I do it is I give them a thankful shell. Call it a thankful shell. And I say, okay, at the end of the day, you tell your shell 3 great things that happened to you that day. Even if it's a crappy day, there's always 3 things that you can be that weren't horrible. Okay, so it can't, and I tell them it can't be like food, mom, it has to be very specific. So you can say a food you ate that day that was really great. So you could say, I ate my favorite ice cream, or, just something great. The weather was really nice. I was able to take a walk, or, the kids said I played my favorite video game. Whatever it was, the act of actually looking for the positive is what you need to do. It's funny, say positive, but, you're actually rewiring your brain to look at the positive things, and you have to, like everything else, it's practice, because our brains naturally look for the problem. We're actually practicing until our brain starts being able to look and appreciate the great things around us. But we have to practice. So I want to challenge each of you this week to look for the 3 things a day that worked out good, that you can actually be happy about. I've watched somebody, and sometimes you have a really bad day. Some really awful things can happen to you, but there's always something that you can look for that's positive. And I've actually tried the skill the past few years. Since I started teaching kids, I have to practice a lot of them. Or adults, I have to practice the skills myself. And it really does help. So sometimes I'll just get really depressed, and I'll just sit there and go, okay. Sometimes I think of problems I've had in the past and how they're not really as intense as they were. So I think of that. That actually helps me a lot. Or I just think of things that were good, and I start getting out of my funk. And so it's a skill that really does work, and you have to kind of train your brain or force yourself to do that every day. So my challenge is for you to look for 3 positive things a day and write it wherever you want. Journal, text yourself every day. You can write it on this page. Just write or look for 3 positive things that happened that day. Things that you're grateful for, things that were good, whatever you want to call it. And we'll tame our brains.